I'm back after so long to finally bring you another amazing DVD guide to teach you the ways of the DVD. We learn about their culture, their language, all that amazing stuff. Last time we did Survivor. Now it's time that we do Killer. And without further ado, these are the 6 steps into becoming a delusional killer. Number 1, choosing your killer. Now, unlike Survivor, which in the end, all survivors are basically just skins and they all play the same, each killer plays differently from one another. And it is important that you must pick the strongest killer out of the bunch, not because they're fun, is because they are strong. Now, of course, not every delusional killer player plays the strongest killers, but playing these killers will help you get into the mindset of becoming a delusional killer player. Killers like Nurse, Spirit, or Blight are great high mobility killers that can down survivors in seconds with almost little counterplay from the survivor's side. This is your first step into becoming a delusional killer. But what good is a DVD guide without talking about the Mambos?
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
Which brings us to number 2, the Mambo perks. Much like with Survivor, you need to have no class when it comes to choosing your perks. You need to be as boring and as stale as you can. And not only that, you must depend on these perks like your life depends on it. You need to rely on these perks like your whole DVD career is depending on them. Perks like Ruin, Pop, Tinker, and Undying are great ways to slow the game down and waste the survivor's time, from turning a 10-minute match into 2 hours. Ruin is a great perk for taking 30 seconds worth of gen progress and removing all of that in the span of 2 seconds with very little effort. Your existence alone is enough to get the survivor off the gen and waste their time even more than they already have. A perk like Tinkerer is a great way for the game to hold your hand, telling you where to go when a gen is about to be completed, instead of learning how to patrol gens yourself. Combo this perk with Ruin, and you can slow the game down and waste the survivor's time without even trying. And to add salt to this already salty ass drink, water. You see it, but salt. Oh god, Kevin. Oh my god. That was fucking disgusting. Okay, here. I'm gonna... Yeah, no. Clip's done. Fuck it. I'm out. Make sure to run Undying so when the survivors think that they finally have to play by their rules, you will still have rune up to drag the matches out way longer than they need to be. And even if they get rid of that, talk about sweats, am I right? Make sure to run Pop Goes the Weasel just in case they finally thought they had it easy and they'd have nothing to worry about from rushing them gens. I can't list every perk combo for each killer, as there are a plethora of combos, but Scott Jones' video on the best killer builds is a great video to watch to learn and understand the best builds for each killer.
For Nurse, you can do Rune, Undying, Tinker, and Corrupt Intervention. Now, Myers should probably use Rune, Undying, Tinker, and Corrupt Intervention. Hag, however, can at least get away with using Rune, Undying, Tinker, and Corrupt Intervention. The Doctor should use Rune, Undying, Tinker, Corrupt Intervention. The Huntress should use Rune, Undying, Tinker, Corrupt Intervention. Bubba should use Insidious.
Number 3, Addons. Now that we covered the meta perks, your very strong build, we must discuss add-ons because having a strong perk build and a strong killer is just not enough. You need to have the strongest add-ons in your arsenal because you need to make it very clear that you don't give a flying fuck about how the survivors feel, because you're going to win this match no matter what, no matter how they may feel about how you play. Again, there are a plethora of add-ons, and much like with perks, I cannot discuss every single add-on combo with you. But with a little bit of research, you'll be able to find the add-ons you exactly want and help you win your games. Number 4. Tunnel and camp your way to victory. First, you must get into the mindset that the survivors you are going against are entitled spoiled brats who have it easy all the time and have no remorse for how the killer feels or how you feel about how they play. With that in mind, you must tunnel. Tunnel the ever-living soul out of the survivor of your choosing. Hook them and camp them to make sure they die on first hook. Smacking them while they're on hook will insert your dominance and let they know that you are the better person. Their swift friends will most definitely come and try to rescue their friend off the hook. And if that happens, stop them in their tracks to make sure that the person you are tunneling dies on hook. Worst case scenario, that they get unhooked, you tunnel them back on the ground and back on the hook. Their friends will most likely have borrowed time, but don't let that stop you from tunneling the dude back on the ground and back on the hook. And let's say their friends will try to come and take protection hits for them, still tunnel them. Make it clear to the world that no matter how many people on Earth take protection hits, you will still chase them down to the end of days. Let no one, and I mean no one, stop you from chasing your dreams. Let's say life throws a curveball and hits you with that decisive strike, you get back up. You need to make it clear to the whole wide universe that you will not stop. You will not stop till the end of days, till that survivor is out of the game. And if they dare to oppose your dreams and say that what you're doing is considered toxic, tell them to go cry on DVD forums and on the Reddit because they're a baby entitled survivor. Number 5. Never play Survivor. Just like with the previous guide, you must never touch Survivor with a 10-foot pole, and if you do, play very little. Because if you're not cautious and you press the Survivor button all willy-nilly, you might fall victim to the killer perks and add-ons that you yourself use. And from that, you might just gain a vicious disease known as sympathy. And as we know on this channel, specifically from the last guide, sympathy has the letters SYMP, which is a deceptive way of spelling SYMP. But LS Man, on the last guide, this was the last step. So you're telling me that there's more? And to answer that question, yes indeed, there is more. There is one final step that is so important that it surpasses anything on this guide. And if there's anything to take into account from this guide, it's this. Number 6, blame everything for your mistakes except yourself. If there is anything, and I mean anything to take away from this guide, this is the one you should be focusing on. This is by far the most important one yet. It is crucial that you must blame everything for your mistakes instead of yourself, instead of looking back on what you did wrong and trying to improve. Because not doing so, your brain will lie to you thinking that this game is not as survivor-sided as you may think, and these so-called unwinnable matches aren't as unwinnable as you make it out to be. And by thinking like that, you lose the victim role that you always must have. By saying things like, I'm not running meta perks, or I'm not playing sweaty so that's why I'm losing, will give you this false sense that you're a lot better at the game than you actually are. Other sayings like survivors are gen rushing, I'm not playing a top tier killer, I'm not on a good map, are all great ways of telling yourself that you are not in control of your mistakes, which is perfect for the victim role that you always must have.